This week's Champion Trends feature Sivir, Leona, Ryze, Fiddlesticks, Pantheon, and my next cosplay costume, Gragas. I'm Lindsay with Zam, and this is LolKing's League Trends. Let's dive into Summoner's Rift. This week, the champions with the largest increase in pick rates is led by Sivir, with Lulu, Wukong, Pantheon, and Morgana rounding out the list. Sivir has once again become one of the most contested marksmen in competitive play, alongside Lucian and Caitlyn. So it's no surprise to see solo queue players jumping on the Sivir wagon as well. Sivir actually has the lowest base auto attack range out of any of the marksmen in the game, while Caitlyn has the highest at 650. This huge disparity in attack range is the reason why Caitlyn is considered the hardest matchup for Sivir. So why is a 500 ranged marksman being fought over? Sivir has the fastest wave clear with her boomerang blade and ricochet, and her spell shield allows her to survive ganks and teamfights even though she doesn't always have an escape. What makes her an incredible pickup is her ultimate, On the Hunt. On the Hunt gives you and your teammates a huge movement speed boost, allowing you to chase down the enemy team. The movement speed helps melee champions like Shyvana and Renekton have a much easier time reaching the enemy backline. Oh goody. Decreases in pick rates place Leona at the top with 1.5% decrease from last week. Ashe, Xerath, Riven, and Gragas round off the list. Ever since the start of Season 4, Leona has been one of the most played supports. Heaven help those who ban her when I'm playing, Lindsay smash. Now that we are a quarter way into the season, some champions like Leona are starting to lose the popularity contest. The biggest reason for this decline is the rise of the Leona counters. As of late, in both NA and EU regions, players have been picking up Morgana in the support role to negate crowd control from Leona and Vi. Morgana's spell shield is able to save your teammates from being locked down by the enemy team. In other regions, Alistar is seeing more play as a counter to Leona as well. What Alistar can do is push Leona away as she uses Zenith's Blade to reach your carry. If you're being pushed under tower, you can even get the opportunity to headbutt Leona into your tower if she ever makes a mistake of charging at you. With people learning how to counter her, Leona will see more of a setting sun than a rising one. Champions with the largest increase in win rates are headed up by Ryze, with Galio, Rengar, Master Yi, and Lissandra completing the list. Ryze has received a few buffs in the recent patch, which attribute to his increasing win rate. There are two changes made to Ryze in patch 4.3. First, Ryze increased the range on his overload. This helps him to trade from a safer distance. During Ryze's last nerf, his overload was changed from being 650 range to 600. This latest buff is a happy middle ground. His second change was that his base health was increased from 446 to 500. The increase in his base health is pretty close to what you would get from a Doran's shield. So how does this affect his win rate? Ryze's biggest issue has always been his laning phase. He's known to scale well and become a late-game monster, so what the changes did was increase his survivability in lane, and that in turn gives him an easier time to scale into the mid and late game. Don't hold him up. The decreases in win rates are led by Fiddlesticks, with Nunu, Maokai, Victor, and Twitch rounding off the list. The decreases in Fiddlesticks' win rate has 100% to do with the new fear changes implemented in patch 4.3. Prior to this patch, champs with fears like Fiddlesticks, Nocturne, and Shaco had a bit of an RNG feeling to them. The reason being that their fear was unpredictable and could make the target wander in any direction. Sometimes the target would head towards you, sometimes they'd go for a walk in a team fight. In the new patch, fear mechanics were changed so that the target will always run away from you and they will receive a movement speed reduction. Even though this made things more consistent, it hurt the champions overall. With weaker CC and always having your target run away from you, it'll make the ganks harder to pull off. The bright side of this change is that always having your target run away from you means that you will have a much easier time escaping if you get caught in a bad place. Champs with the largest increase in ban rates this week is headed up by Pantheon at almost 8.5%, with Lulu, Kha'Zix, Wukong, and Elise trailing behind. Looking at this list, 4 out of 5 champions happen to be junglers. I think this is a good indication of how big of an impact junglers have been in the Season 4 meta. Currently, the jungler that's gaining the most popularity is Pantheon, as evidenced by his appearance on this list. His Aegis of Zionia is a guaranteed stun on your target, and you can follow up with Heartseeker Strike and Spear Shot to quickly burst out a carry. His passive, Aegis Protection, allows him to block multiple tower shots during a dive. His ultimate, Grand Skyfall, aka Mandrop, allows him to apply global pressure after he hits level 6. You can use it to catch unexpected laners, as well as use it as a taunt, as it only has a 10-second cooldown if you cancel your ultimate. Plus, who doesn't like it when it rains men? Finally, champions with the largest decrease in ban rate this week are led by Gragas, with Dr. Mundo, Ziggs, Kale, and LeBlanc finishing off the list. Even though his ban rate has gone down most likely due to the recent nerfs from patch 4.3, Gragas remains one of the strongest mid laners. His body slam went from 60% AD scaling to 30% at rank 1 and 70% at rank 5. Why does this affect Gragas if he typically stacks AP? Normally, Gragas would max Drunken Rage second after Barrel Roll, as it grants him 70 attack damage. This would make Body Slam hit a bit harder without even leveling it. This change forces you to choose between either having more damage by maxing Body Slam second, or having more sustain in lane by maxing Drunken Rage. This is the biggest change to Gragas in this patch. His other change was that his AP scaling on his ultimate Explosive Cask went from 100% to 90%. This is barely a change at all, and it doesn't really affect Gragas overall as a champion. Drunken Brawler incoming! And that's it for this week's show. Please be sure to subscribe to LolKing on YouTube to keep up on these league trends, and be sure to subscribe to Cloth5 on YouTube for more great analysis. We also have a giveaway going for you D3 players for the upcoming Reaper of Souls expansion over on wowhead.com, so you can check out the link in the description below. I'm Lindsay. Thanks for watching.